Still in local news, speaking at an event held in Birgama yesterday, UPFA Western Provincial Councillor Shalita Vijayasundara commented on the political leadership in the country.
අද රටේ නායකයින් හැදෙන්නේ ජෙනීවා කියන මාතෘකාව.
If you look at the present situation, it is evident that the leaders of the country are created based on the topic of Geneva. If an international summit is held in Geneva, then leaders are appointed today. Although they are leaders, there is nobody behind them. They too have been created because of foreign demand. Either they represent a foreign group or they come forward to display their own strength. There are no complete leaders. There are no leaders who identify with the sadness of all Sri Lankans at the grassroots level. There are no such people in the field of politics or in social service. The people who call themselves political leaders today are not suited for this country.
අද දේශපාලඥ නායකයෝ කියලා ඉන්නේ මේ රටට නොගැලපෙන කට්ටිය.
A leadership workshop organized by the local Federation of Youth Clubs in Birgama was held at the Sri Lanka Youth Sports Training Centre in Heyantuluwa yesterday under the auspices of Shalita Vijayasundara.
Information has now come to light regarding the charred human remains that were found on the 26th of October in Siribopura, Hambantota.
The police say that information regarding the murder came to light during the interrogation of suspects arrested in connection with the incident.
The arrested suspects were remanded until the 8th of January after being produced in court.
The charred human remains that were discovered following a tip-off made to the Hambantota police have been identified as those of 23-year-old Sandun Lahiru Jayaratna from Puhulwala, Kirinda. After it was ascertained to be a case of murder following the post-mortem examination, the Tangle Crimes Division conducted further investigations. The police arrested 2 persons during the course of investigations. They were attached to a private company and were serving as safety regulators for the electricity board in Hambantota. Our reporter says that one of the suspects is an army deserter. The police say that information has come to light that the murder victim was stabbed in a plot of land belonging to the CEB in Araboka, Hambantota. Based on information divulged by the suspects, the police have seized 2 knives believed to have been used in the murder from the Mahalewaya lagoon. They had also seized a mobile phone found at the residence of one of the suspects. The police say that they have also seized the motorcycle used to transport the body, adding that a personal conflict is believed to have provoked the murder. Our reporter says that the victim had a relationship with the chief suspect's sister-in-law. The suspects were remanded till the 8th of January after being produced before Hambantota Acting Magistrate Iqbal Rashid today. A 24-year-old man has been murdered after being bashed with a rock in Deltota, Galaha in Kandy. The police say the young man was attacked in his sleep at about 6 o'clock this morning. The victim had succumbed to his injuries after being admitted to the Deltota District Hospital. A relative of the victim has been arrested in connection with the incident. The Deltota police are conducting further investigations. One person has been killed following the escalation of an argument with another man in the Needland Estate area in Kalugamua, Virambogedera in Kurunagala. The victim has been identified as 50-year-old Sinarath Arachige Nimal Chandra Siri.
My mother, brother and I went looking for him in the morning. As he had not returned home, we found him dead.
While the suspect has been arrested, the Virambogedera police are conducting further investigations.
An event to distribute books amongst children from Wanathumulla was held at the Sivali Children's Sports Ground.
The event was held this morning under the auspices of SM Marikar. When these children start going to school, their parents engage in a tireless effort to educate them for their future and to send them for tuition classes. You must also make a small effort to send them to Dhamma school or other religious schools on Sundays or on another day of the week to ensure they receive a proper religious education. When the child learns religion well and has a good understanding of religion, they become good citizens. They gain self-discipline. It is very difficult to live given the current economic predicament of the country. I think that the small assistance that we gave today will ease the minds of the mothers somewhat. At the same time, I pray that every child will receive a proper education, go to good schools and live well. This is what I have to ask of every child.
The Newsfirst Eslon Danamutusani was held today as well at Kingswood College, Kandy.
The public can receive free expert consultations on building a house through the Danamutusani program.
People from all corners of the Kandy district flocked to Kingswood College this morning to visit the Danamuthu Sayane program, which commenced at 8 a.m.
විශේෂයෙන්ම ජෝතිෂකාරය මම ජෝතිෂ මහත්මයා හමු වෙන්න ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ ගත වැදගත් උපදෙස්ටියා ඔබතුමාලා මේ කරන සත්කාරය බොහොම වැදගත්.
ඇත්තම මට හරියටම සේවයක් පිටුණා මෙතෙන්ට අවිල්ලා මගේ ගෙදර ප්ලෑන් එක පොඩි දෝෂයක් තිබ්බා ඒව දැනගත්තා මම ඊට කලින් ඒව දැනගෙන හිටියෙත් නෑ.
The public can receive expert advice free of charge from architects, civil engineers, builders, lawyers, astrologists, plumbers, feng shui experts and other construction sector experts at the Danamuthu Sayane program.
මම දැන් ගොඩාක් බැලුවා බැංකුවගේ ණය සම්බන්ධව බැලුවා නීතිඥ සම්බන්ධව බැලුවා ජ්‍යොතිෂය පිළිබඳව බැලුවා ඒකෙන් හැම ගොඩාක් අපි දැනුවත් වුණා දැන් නැති දේවල් ගොඩක් දැනගත්තා.
Meanwhile, the plumbing at numerous houses in the Kandy area was also renovated free of charge yesterday, parallel to the Danamuthu Sayane program.
සත්කාරය හොඳ සාර්ථක වැඩසටහනක් කියලා හිතනවා. ඒ වගේ දේවල් තවත් ඉදිරියට කරනවා නම් අපි ගොඩක් සන්තෝෂ වෙනවා.
ස්ලෝන් කම්පැනි කරලා දෙන මේ සත්කාරය ගැන අපි සතුටු වෙනවා. ඉදිරියටත් මේ වගේ වැඩසටහන් කරලා දෙන්න කියලා අපි ඉල්ලීමක් කරනවා.
Let's take a look at some of the views that were expressed by UNP parliamentarian Buddhika Pathirana at an event held in Devinuwara this morning.
සමෘද්ධිය කියන්නේ තමුන්නාන්සලගේ සල්ලි.
The Samruddhi Fund is your money. The taxes you pay on rice, dal, moldy fish, lozenges and the toffee you buy for your child goes to the treasury. From the treasury it comes to you as the Samruddhi welfare scheme. When they carpet the roads and give your children school uniforms, they use tax money. Tax money earned by the government at the end of the day is your money. This event, organized by the Samadhi Community Development Foundation, was held to provide high nutrition supplements to underweight children in the Devinuwara area.
In business news this evening, more than 1 million Americans will lose their unemployment benefits after an emergency federal program expired yesterday. Now, lawmakers failed to agree on an extension of the scheme before the U.S. Congress began its winter recess.
Former President George W. Bush introduced the assistance plan in 2008 at the start of the recession. Now, under the program, jobless people received an average monthly stipend of $1,166 for up to 73 weeks. The White House says the benefits have kept millions of families out of poverty, but many Republicans argue that the scheme's annual $25 billion price tag is too expensive. Russian news agency Russia Today reports that a blast has ripped through a railway station in Volgograd in Russia's south, killing at least 15 people. Reports from Russia suggest that the blast was caused by a suicide bomber who set off the bomb just before it could be discovered at a checkpoint.
Now, the explosion just 2 months after another suicide bomber struck in the same Russian city will bolster fears of attacks by Islamist militants as Russia prepares to host the 2014 Winter Olympics in the Black Sea city of Sochi in less than 6 weeks' time. Russia Today reported earlier that over 30 persons were injured in the explosion. Russia's emergencies ministry is reported to have sent 2 transport planes equipped with medical equipment to assist ground personnel.
On to some sports news now. Sri Lanka defeated Malaysia by 255 runs today at the Under-19 Asia Cup Group B encounter.
And the Under-19 Asia Cup is taking place in the United Arab Emirates.
8 countries are battling it out in the Under-19 Asia Cup in the UAE. Pitted in Group B, Sri Lanka Under-19 amassed 287 runs for the loss of 6 wickets in their allotted 50 overs today against Malaysia. Premal Pereira of St. Joseph's College Maradana top scored for Sri Lanka with 68 runs, while his deputy Sadira Samaravikrama contributed with 55 runs. Tilaksha Sumanasiri of St. Thomas's College Mount Lavinia scored 59 runs. Chasing a target of 288 runs to win, Malaysia Under-19 were bundled out for 32 runs by the Lankans in 22.3 overs. Sri Lanka Under-19 recorded a win of 255 runs. Binro Fernando of D.S. Senanaka College bagged 4 wickets, conceding 12 runs for Sri Lanka Under-19, while Anuk Fernando bagged 3 wickets for 11 runs.
But what are the crises in sports that have remained unresolved over the past year?
Tonight on The Bitter Truth, we take a look at these prevailing problems.
Although 37 million rupees were spent on the renovation of the Sugadadasa swimming pool complex, there is no electronic timekeeper at the complex as yet. Although the Jayatilaka Sports Ground in Navalapitiya, the electorate of the Sports Minister, was renovated and reopened under the Provincial Sports Complexes project, over a year has passed since construction on the Vincent Dice International Sports Complex in Badulla should have been completed. Although 13 years have passed since the use-by date of the synthetic turf at the Nandimitra Hockey Stadium in Matale, a new turf has not been laid as yet. Although it was said that the new orders for sports associations were intended to ensure good governance in sport, the Sports Minister used these new regulations to allow Suraj Dandenia, the tournament director of the 2011 Cricket World Cup, to contest for the position of President of the Badminton Association of Sri Lanka. While allegations were also levelled that elections for the bodybuilding, cycling and shooting associations were also corrupt, a point that was constantly highlighted was that the Sports Minister was appointing persons faithful to him to positions in these associations. Sachit Maduranga, a silver medalist in the javelin throw event at the Asian Games, retired from the sport on the 7th of September, citing that he and his fellow athletes have received no benefits at all, even though they have secured many international victories. On the 2nd of June, the president of the Punjab Cricket Association, I.S. Bindra, alleged that Sri Lanka cricket had downplayed a report into an incident where an Indian cricketer had allegedly spent the night in his hotel room with the representative of an Indian bookmaker during a tour of Sri Lanka in 2010. No investigation has been undertaken into this allegation as yet. While Sri Lanka Cricket purchased 2 electricity generators in 2011 at a cost of 60 million rupees, SLC's audit report affirms that this transaction was not mentioned in SLC's financial report. Authorities are as yet unable to make a clear statement on the current whereabouts of these generators. On the 6th of September, SLC Vice President K. Mathivanan announced his retirement, citing undue pressure from above. Although SLC Exco member Shami Silva addressed a letter to the Sports Minister claiming that the President of the SLC had stated that the position of Vice President was to be given to Asanga Seneviratne without an election, as per a request made by the Sports Minister, no investigation has been undertaken into this matter as yet. Although the Sports Minister continuously justified the granting of terrestrial broadcasting rights for cricket matches held in Sri Lanka to the Carlton Sports Network for 3 years for the price of 125 million rupees, former Test cricket captain Arjuna Ranatunga claims that the minister is lying. Although MTV Channel Private Limited had challenged authorities prior to this to annul this agreement which only benefits one faction and called for tenders once again to ensure maximum benefit for Sri Lanka cricket, the authorities are yet to take on the challenge. The International Olympic Committee announced on the 27th of last month that the sports law in this country needs to be amended in accordance with the Olympic Charter within 6 months. If the Ministry of Sports fails to fulfill this, what will be the plight of sports in this country next year? The bitter truth will continue to remain vigilant in matters relating to the inner workings of sport in the coming year as well.
Well, that's a look at News at 9 for this Sunday evening. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm Arundhati Mudanayaka.
And I'm Shane Silva. We wrap up with a look at your weather forecast for the next 24 hours. Good night.
Newsfirst at 9.
Hotline 0114-896-896. www.newsfirst.lk. Feedback at news